Sony steps up PS5 shipments in an effort to avoid shortages amid US tariff uncertainty. Will this mean PS5 and PS5 Pros will be hard to get? Switch 2 pre-order freeze underscores potential impact of US tariffs on PS5. If you don't know, the Switch 2 was just recently revealed and the pre-order date was supposed to be April 9th, but that has been delayed indefinitely until the Nintendo figure out what to do. It could mean a price increase for the Switch 2. And what does it mean for the PS5? Could the PS5 and PS5 Pro be getting a price increase? And take this with a grain of salt, right now at least, but the PS5 shielded from Trump tariffs for the time being as of Sunday, but that is changing rapidly. Let's get into the latest on tariffs, how it might affect the PS5. I'm Blaze2K. Please like, subscribe, click the bell icon for the latest on PlayStation news, tech news, all that good stuff, handheld gaming news, as well as news on the upcoming PSP2, PlayStation Vita 2. Stay tuned, like, subscribe, click the bell icon, I'd really appreciate it. And also check out our links down below in the video description for the latest PS5 accessories, as well as a PSVR 2. Go check it out. I have a PSVR 2. It is amazing. You will not regret it. Check the link down below and get it while it's on a really good deal. So let's take a look at an older article, just to give you a little bit of context, right? So Sony's been stepping up PS5 shipments in an effort to avoid shortages amid US tariff uncertainty. This was obviously, and other products as well, by the way. And this was back in February. So a little bit of time has passed since February 25th. But let's just say things have been ramped up significantly. There's been more tariffs put on everything than ever before. China, I believe, as of tomorrow, are getting another 50% additional tariffs on top of existing tariffs, bringing China's tariff total up to about 106%, I believe, on everything imported from China, which is absolutely crazy. So if you order from Temu or anything, expect prices to rise. So again, this was back in February, but back in its earnings report in February and January, Sony stated that some of its planned changes in response to the US's new tariff policies. The White House recently introduced a 10% tariff on goods imported from China. That is now like up to 100%, described by Trump as an opening salvo, and many inferring that the harsher levies may follow, which they did, and more will be following tomorrow when they go up to 100% of tariffs on everything coming in from China. This could be a bad sign for people that are wanting to get a PS5, PS5 Pro, PSVR. If you're going to get PlayStation stuff, get it now. Okay, get it now. Get it today. And check the links down below, because I've got a list of all the best PS5 accessories and deals on Amazon. I've collated them all for you. PSVR 2, all the stuff you need for your PS5 and PS5 Pro are down below. And like it says, the sooner you get it, the sooner the better. If you've been waiting to get yourself a PS5, PS5 Pro, check out the links down below, because time is running out if these tariffs keep getting ramped up. Now, if you don't know, obviously the Switch 2 was announced last week, or not long ago, right? And pre-orders were supposed to open up for it, I believe, on April 9th, which is tomorrow. Obviously, Nintendo had to put out a statement saying we're delaying the pre-order phase, only in the US, by the way, because of the impact on tariffs. They need to reevaluate. They said the price point for the Nintendo Switch 2 was going to be $449, which was already pretty damn pricey, $100 more than our Japanese counterparts. But apparently that was not factoring in tariffs. So the Switch 2 could be going up to 500, 550, 600 potentially, depending on how bad these tariffs impact, the imports of Switch 2 consoles. And unfortunately, Switch 2s are not going to be getting produced in the US anytime soon. So this is an impact that we'll all feel in the short term. And it brings up the question of how this might impact the tariffs on PS5 and everything else, of course. So let's take a look at Push Square's article here. So, update, Friday 14th of April 2025. As the US government's new tariff plans come into focus, Nintendo has announced that pre-orders in the region are being postponed indefinitely. Obviously, it won't start on April 9th. This is an unprecedented move from the company. It shows how serious the impact Trump's administration's tariffs have had on the gaming sector. The game business ESA's Aubrey Quinn warns that the effect will be significant. What was announced yesterday will have real and detrimental impact on the video game industry, she says, referring to Trump's unveiling of the global tariff changes. While China is just one player in the realm of console manufacturing, many components and procedures are carried out in multiple countries like Vietnam, Cambodia. I already know Nintendo moved a lot of their manufacturing stuff to Cambodia and Vietnam in the hope to avoid or to mitigate this tariff change. But Cambodia and Vietnam are also getting tariffed. So that's crazy. So it's not like there's a console factory that's pumping out every piece of a console, Quinn says. All modern consumer electronics, including video game devices, are made with parts from multiple countries of origin. That means that any one final product is likely to be subjected to many of the tariffs yesterday, and they will all be compounded on top of one on top of another. Game consoles are particularly at risk because profit margins on the hardware are notoriously slim. Companies like Sony make up the difference through sale of software and accessories. Nintendo's move to delay pre-orders for its just-announced console is all the proof you need of incoming changes these tariffs will have, and Sony will no doubt be treading just as cautiously regarding the PS5. Now, China's been hit with a tariff of at least 54%, and I believe as of yesterday, that's going up to 100-something% because Trump's added another 50% on top of the 50% of tariffs. So 100-something% as far as tariffs are concerned from China, making products mass-produced in the country like PS5 significantly more expensive to import. These costs are likely to be passed on to the masses via the retail price tag. That's just common sense economics, right? You know, companies aren't going to make 100% loss on these products. It's just going to push up the price. That's just the way things are, unfortunately. Some armchair economics people on PS5 subreddit estimate a digital edition PS5 could cost roughly $750, and a PS5 Pro could be about $1,350 after the tariffs come into effect. Basically, because the tariffs have went up to about 100+%. You know, assuming that the majority of the components do come from China, we could be looking at, like the article says here, up to $1,350 for a PS5 Pro. Is that a price you're willing to pay for the PS5 Pro, or will you just go back to emulating games on your handheld, on your smartphone? I mean, because these prices are just outside the realm of like sanity at this point, right? And it's because of the tariffs, unfortunately. But the tariffs are an ongoing, like, changing. You know, they're changing on a daily basis. While we're not certain about those figures, the reality is here that there will likely be repercussions like this in the future. It's all up in the air right now, but manufacturers have already begun planning for the potential impact. Sony, for instance, has stockpiled an inventory of PS5s in the US as a short-term measure, and it's planning to move its production pipeline elsewhere to lessen the blow. Could we see PS5s being manufactured in the US? And if so, will that push up the price of the PS5 significantly? Because, you know, cheaper labor in different countries like Vietnam, Cambodia, China, obviously helps keep prices sort of reasonable, and that's what we've come to expect. Now, let's say if they did move their factories to the US, first of all, there would have to be a massive training surge. Like, people would have to get trained to work on these assembly lines. This is a process that will take years and years. Obviously, they're going to need to build the factories. They're going to have to train people to work in the factories. This is like a long-term thing. So I don't think this is going to be happening anytime soon, at least not to mitigate the price of these tariffs, right? Now, let's check the more recent article. Again, this could be outdated too. PS5 shielded from Trump's tariffs for the time being, but could be affected if chaos continues. So let's see. Forward thinking from Sony will shield the PS5 from US President Donald Trump's tariffs, but only temporarily. As you know, they stockpiled PS5s in the US anticipating tariffs. The manufacturer took a series of preventative measures to protect itself from impending moves by the US government, doubling supply chains, stockpiling hardware in order to give itself a buffer in the hopes that the tariffs will get reduced, lowered, or removed entirely by the time that they go through the stockpile. Who knows what's going to happen, man? We could be getting crazy price increases. This could affect gaming big time. This strategy will buy the platform holder some time as it works through existing inventory before it's affected by the tariffs, but it won't last forever unless something happens. Once it's sold through its current supply of consoles and accessories, it may be forced to raise prices. That's because the majority of PS5 consoles are manufactured in China, where it'd be subject to tariff rates of about 54%, and again, that 54% is going up to 100%, so it's going to be even worse. It could potentially manufacture US units exclusively in Japan, which would lower its tariff rates to 24%, but this will still likely result in higher hardware prices for American customers. The good news is that initial stockpiling, Japan manufacturing, PS5 being mid to late gen at this point, profitable on a per unit basis. PS5 Pro is likely being priced at $700 in anticipation of some potential tariff impact, meaning that with the price increase, the increase may not be as significant as it would be for new tech products. So there we go. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section. Let's take a look over on social media and see what people have to say. So this is on the PS5 subreddit. So if these tariffs go into effect, once the supply that's already been shipped here to the USA runs out, the cost of a PS5 is going to be roughly $750 for a slim model. Tariffs in China and Vietnam will be over 50%. A PS5 Pro will be $1,350 roughly. At the rate that PS5s are selling now, I'd imagine the stockpiles will run out fairly soon. What kind of crazy cartoon reality are we living in? If these tariffs do go into effect, they go into effect in 7 days. This is going to absolutely massacre Nintendo, because the Switch 2 will be over $700 including tax, or perhaps not including tax, and physical games will be $150. This is completely unreal. If you think that retailers are not going to jack up the prices of the units already in the US too, I got a bridge to sell you. Gonna need a video of a guy in his pickup truck recording himself trying to explain why this is actually a good thing. I'm scared of how much PS6 will cost. This will literally affect every purchase you make. Voting matters, so they're getting political now. I think the current administration is doing this as like a bargaining chip, right? They're trying to negotiate, get deals with countries. I don't think this is going to be permanent, guys. I really hope it's not going to be permanent. I think they're using this as a negotiation tactic to get, you know, to make trading a little bit more fair to the US, but we'll see. Anything's possible right now. But look at what they did to games. We had to vote for this. Oh my goodness. This is what, oh, okay, we're getting political. We'll avoid social media, we'll avoid Reddit for now. Anyways, thank you for watching. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. Obviously this is not a political channel. I try and stay away from politics as much as possible, so I apologize for any comments you might have seen on that subreddit. You know, we're all about gaming, we're all about being happy, we're all about being friends on this channel. Whether you agree or don't agree with the tariffs, that's okay. Let me know in the comment section. That's the place to disagree and agree if you want to. I'm just here to report the news. Anyways, yeah, will tariffs impact the PS5? Will we see prices go up to as high as $1,350 US for a PS5 Pro? Is that a price you're willing to pay? Do you think that's a bit excessive? Do you think tariffs will last for a long time? Do you think we'll get through Sony's stockpile that's already inside the US before, you know, before tariffs are lowered or removed completely? Let me know in the comment section down below. Obviously, it's a crazy time. It's a crazy time to be alive, frankly. I mean, this doesn't just affect video games in general. It's going to affect a lot of things, a lot of, you know, hardware products, maybe not so much food, but stuff that's imported from factories across the world, right? And I'd love to know your opinion on it. Anyways, I'm Blazed2k. Stay up to date. Like, subscribe, click the bell icon. Even if you don't agree and you're kind of annoyed and mad, please like the video, because we need to get this out there. People need to know, you know, what things are like. People need to know what to expect, and so videos like this hopefully can help a little bit. Anyways, I'm Blazed2k. Stay up to date with the channel for gaming news, tech news, all that, all PS5 news on the daily. I really appreciate if you like. Check the links down below for the PSVR 2, PS5 tech. You might want to get your hands on some right now if you were planning on it, and some really other cool deals and tech stuff that I use in my setup on a daily basis. So thank you for watching. I'm Blazed2k. Take care, stay safe, and yeah, buckle up. It's going to be a hell of a ride.
Let's go.